Solving equations by multiplying fractions. Division is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So for example, if we had 4/5 x equals 11/15, and we want to solve for x, we need to get rid of the 4/5. So if we multiply by the reciprocal, watch what happens. So 5/4, the 4's are going to cancel because 4 will go into 4 once, 4 will go into 4 once, and then the 5's will cancel because 5 will go into 5 once, 5 will go into 5 once. So we just get 1x, which is what we want. So 1x equals, I got to remember to do the same thing to this side, so times 5/4, and top and bottom numbers have a common factor of 5. It'll go once and it'll go 3 times. Multiply across and I get 11/12, which is my solution. So make sure that you look for common factors on the top and bottom before you multiply. All right, let's try another example. One with negative numbers, and this time an integer on one side. So for example 2, if we had negative 4w equals 3/8, we can write integers over 1. And the reason we can do that is because if we divide negative 4 by 1, it's still going to be negative 4. So any number divided by itself is still the same number. So I'm going to write this over 1, and then I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So times, or multiplied by negative 1/4, multiplied by negative 1/4. And that negative, it doesn't matter if I put it on the top or the bottom. I always like to keep it on the top though. It's the proper way. So my 4's cancel here, and negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1w. And that always happens. Anytime you multiply by the reciprocal, it's always going to cancel this out and make it 1. So you have 1w. But we're lazy mathematicians, so we don't put that 1 right there. That 1's too much work. I won't put it there. If I was solving that equation, I would put that 1 there. Well, let's look for top and bottom numbers that have common factors. So 1 and 4, 1 and 8, nothing in common other than 1. 3 and 8, 3 and 4, nothing in common. So we'll just multiply across. And negative 3 times negative 1 gives me positive 3. And 8 times 4 gives me 32. So it's already reduced. And it would be 3/32. But wait! An odd number of negatives yields a negative answer. Yes, she's right. We did not have a negative up here that was not a negative 3/8. So listen to Miss Bossy here, that should be a negative 3/32. Alright, hopefully we can solve the next question without getting yelled at. Next up, we're going to use mixed numbers, and we need to remember to convert them to improper fractions. So we have to convert them before, that's the key word, before we multiply them. So for example, if we had negative 2 and 3/4 x equals negative 12 and 1/2, we need to convert these into improper. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. That'll be 11/4. And don't forget it's a negative. x. And then the same thing over here. 2 times 12 is 24 plus the 1. We have 25 over 2. And again, don't forget about that negative. And now we can multiply by the reciprocal. So multiply by negative 4/11. That cancels out my 4's and my 11's. And do the same thing over here, times negative 4/11. And look for common factors with our top and bottom numbers. So 25 and 2, nothing. 25 and 11, nothing. But look at 4 and 2. They have a common factor of 2. It'll go once into 2 and twice into 4. And now we can multiply across, and we get x equals 50 over 11. How many negatives do you have there? Well, we have 1, 2. We have an even number, miss. Well, what does that mean? Easy now. An even number means it's positive. And maybe you should try being a little more positive. Alright, let's go ahead and make our final answer a mixed number. So 11 will go into 50 4 times. So we would say, because 4 times 11 is 44, and then we still need 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. We still need 6 more left over out of 11. And another way to show that is just to do division this way. 4 times 11 is 44, and then when we subtract we get 6. So that remainder is what goes on top. So it's 4 and 6 11ths. And that's our final answer. Alright, a bubble tape container has 1 4/5 meters of gum. If you gave 3/10 meter pieces to your classmates, how many classmates did you share your gum with? Now really, this question is asking for the number of groups of. How many groups of 3/10 meter pieces? So groups of means that we are multiplying. So look for those key words. And here, although it doesn't say groups of, it says we're giving 3/10 meter pieces, and it says how many. So that implies it's groups of. So it would be 3/10 times or multiplied by something gives us a total of 1 4/5. So this was our total amount. So that's why it's on the other side of the equal sign. So how many groups of 3/10 make up 1 4/5? Well, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So times 10/3. Multiply by, whoops, I see a mistake here. I didn't make this into a improper fraction. So 5 times 1 plus 4 is 9/5. Now I can multiply that by the 10/3. And I'm going to look for a common factor on the top and bottom. So 5 and 10, they have a common factor of 5. It'll go once and twice. And then 3 and 9. 3 will go into 3 once, 3 will go into 9 3 times. Now I'm going to multiply across, and I get 6 over 1, which is just 6. And remember, my 10's and my 3's canceled, so it's just 1x equals 6. Oh, and there they are. Alright, I gotta go get some bubble tape.